Greetings, Ben Murray here with another edition of SaaS Metrics School. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. So today's topic, you're less than 2 million ARR and you want to exit. So I just got off a coaching call this week with someone who's trying to prep a company for sale and it's early stage. So less than 2 million. So looking through some of the numbers and especially we were looking at the revenue data. So I want to give you my thoughts on if you're early stage, you're less than 2 million ARR, you're ready to pull the plug, you'd like to sell your SaaS business. What would I be looking for that you need to have in shape so your data, your financial data is easily consumable for potential buyers? And that's the key. We want to make it easy. We don't want them to scratch their head, to be very confused when you hand over that data. So we have to make it simple and we have to pass over those fundamentals and not all these tabs with all these random numbers on it. And in this coaching call, I was looking at these numbers and even I've seen so many financials, MRR schedule, data, metrics, P&Ls, et cetera. And couldn't really understand what this business was trying to do with this data that they had put in their data room. So, and again, I'm a SaaS CFO, so I live this 24/7 and couldn't really figure out what they were trying to do with this data. So, in my opinion, here's what you need to have in order if you're early stage and you'd like to exit. So, first is the accounting. I always talk about you have to SaaSify your accounting foundation. We need revenue by category. We don't want to mix subscriptions with variable revenue streams, for example. We don't want to embed those one-time services payments into our subscription revenue streams. Seems so obvious, but I see it all the time. So we need revenue by major category. Next, we need expenses coded to the department level. Now, early stage, maybe you just have a dev team or contractors for your dev team. Maybe you have a contracted sales rep. So think about those major functions within your SaaS business, whether staff or contracted, and we need those expenses coded to those departments. And again, pure play SaaS departments in the COGS area, we have tech support, professional services, DevOps, customer success if they don't sell. Then in the OpEx area, below gross profit, we have R&D or dev team, sales, marketing, and G&A. So think about those functions. Do you have those functions, whether they're staff or contractors, and code every single expense for those people back to those departments. So think those people, all the expenses follow them. So wages, taxes, benefits, bonus, commission, travel, swag, training, whatever it might be, we want to code it to department level because then we can easily create or more easily create a SaaS P&L because that out of the box QuickBooks P&L, that out of the box zero P&L just doesn't cut it. It's hard to understand what's happening within our business. So if we have that nicely formatted SaaS P&L, and again, in the show notes, I'll put a link to my free templates course so you can see what I'm talking about. So we can make it easily consumable when we hand your P&L over to that investor, acquirer. They can understand your business model. What revenue categories do you have? What kind of departments do you need to support the delivery of revenue and COGS, for example? Then finally, your MRR schedule. Now, check out yesterday's episode. I specifically talked about the importance of your MRR schedule, and I went into detail on your MRR schedule. But we need to assess the health of your current revenue because if you're 1.5 million in ARR, there's not really a fully built out business model here. You've got revenue, maybe not many expenses, staff, contractors. So really the focus is on that revenue. What's the health of the recurring revenue? What's the trajectory? What are the segments, pricing plans? So your MRR schedule is so important. And how do we assess the health of your recurring revenue, which is directly going to impact the valuation of your company? It's the MRR schedule, which we push into our retention analysis. And that customer retention, the gross revenue retention, net revenue retention, that directly impacts the valuation of your company. Of course, those are just a couple data points, but I think they're going to be more emphasized when you're less than 2 million AR than if you're above 10 million. Of course, we're going to look at retention, but we're going to look at a whole host of other metrics. So just a couple thoughts here because I came off a coaching call this week of someone trying to prep a company for sale and just my thoughts of what you need to have in order to, again, make your data easily consumable so you can have quality conversations with those potential acquirers. So again, in the show notes, I've got a link to that free course. And also, if you want to level up your SaaS metrics knowledge, speak the language of SaaS with potential acquirers, I've got a SaaS metrics course coming up July 9th. There's also a link in the show notes to that to really go in depth on SaaS metrics for the operations of your business. Also, it helps in due diligence. So today, talking about exiting and what we need if you're on the early stage side to make our data easily consumable. Thanks.